Welcome to RPG Community College. My name is John Burgundy. I am the dean of this prestigious institution, and today I'm going to be diving into some Mordhau and what I've learned about playing as a spearman. I feel like this will serve as a helpful resource for people who are new or frustrated with the game, and it also might provide some insight as to how I approach Mordhau as a new player to the game and the genre as a whole. Right now a lot of people are just kind of running around like chickens with their heads cut off, or soon to be cut off rather. This game could certainly be overwhelming. There are a lot of mechanics to master, a plethora of weapons to use, not to mention the different armor to wear and the perks to choose. This guide should hopefully help you ease yourself into Mordhau and have some fun along the way. I'll also have a guide in the description from people way more knowledgeable than me. This helped me a ton, and it covers just about everything you need to know, but I will be talking more in depth about using spears and the fine art of poking people in the face. First, I'm going to start with what I feel are the pros and cons of the spears, starting with the short spear. It's faster than the two-handed spear, it can be used with a shield, it has great reach for a one-hander, and it can also be thrown, but it has poor slash damage, and it's very predictable. And for the two-handed spear, this has the longest reach of any weapon in the game, to my knowledge. If it's not the longest, definitely the second or the third. This thing has got a lot of reach on it. And due to its long reach, this weapon has amazing teamwork synergy. You can sit in the back lines and follow up your teammates' attacks with an attack of your own, pretty much guaranteeing a hit. But much like the short spear, it has poor slash damage and it's very predictable. It also takes a little bit longer to attack than most weapons. Both of these weapons are great for beginners though. The most effective way to use these weapons is going to be just a stab. Everyone who uses a spear stabs 99% of the time. I do it. Everyone who fights me knows I'm going to do it. You are predictable. But you can use this to mind game people. But since all you have to do is stab, this is going to allow you to focus more on timing your attacks and properly spacing your opponents though. These are two skills that will translate into every other weapon that you're going to use. And I mean, the best form of defense you could ever have is to not get hit, right? Easier said than done though. Using a spear will allow you to have the range advantage on just about every opponent that you have, making proper spacing very rewarding. And due to the spear being slightly slower than the average weapon, like a longsword, more so with the normal spear than the short spear, proper spacing is going to be that much more important to your success. Let's dive into the concept of spacing a little bit more here. What we got in front of us is a clip that I think highlights the importance of spacing very well. We got a good old-fashioned brawl going on in the middle of the tourney map. Looks like some nice 4v4 action. Since I have a shield, I try to move into the front line so that I can effectively fend off my enemy's attacks and hopefully create an opportunity for my teammates to attack. Pay attention to the spearman on the left and kind of take note of the distance that he has away from me. And watch here what happens. If you noticed right there, his spear actually hit my spear, and that was pretty much the closest you could come to hitting someone without hitting them. If he would have been just a pixel more closer to me, he would have registered a hit, and then his teammate probably would have came in and finished me off. Notice his distance from me now. He's much closer, and if I don't do anything about this attack, I'm definitely going to be eating some damage. What I do here is probably also one of the best ways to deal with a spear and shield user. As you can see, you just chamber their attack. You do this by mirroring their attack right as it's about to hit you. 99% of the time, anyone who uses a spear is just going to stab you. Spear users are the easiest people to chamber. Doing this can sometimes catch them off guard, and you can get some easy damage like I've done here. If you take a look around the battlefield, you'll notice that they have a comrade laying face down in the dirt, and things aren't looking too well for him. Here we have another attack coming in on us. I feel like this distance is much harder to predict, but because he's using a spear, he's going to have a longer range than most enemies. So from this distance, as you're about to see, he can actually hit me, and I properly judge this and chamber it away. If the enemy is fast enough, they will be able to block your chambered attacks. This forces him back, but I've also kind of made a mistake here, because I also have an enemy to my right, who definitely notices this and is about to try and capitalize off of the flank that he has on me. I get lucky, and his aim is a little bit off, and he hits my shield just as I'm pulling it up. Also, the enemy spearman misjudges the distance between me and him. He could have easily hit me in these situations if he would have committed a little bit more to his attacks. I also missed my strike on him too. He goes to try to fend off my teammates, which creates a nice opportunity for me to poke in there and get a little damage in. We're also 3v2 at this point, so this is a pretty dangerous situation for the enemy team to be in, but not an unwinnable one. And this, right here, this is what you're always going to be waiting for. Look how far away that spearman that is about to attack me is. There is no way that that attack is going to land. Maybe if he actually had a full-size spear, but he's wielding a short spear, and there is no way in hell that this attack is going to hit me. I instantly recognize this, and this right here, if you properly time your follow-up attack, is just free damage. And since we've already damaged him before with the chamber attack, things are not looking good for him. And it's important that when you think that your opponent is too far away and he comes in to attack you, do not parry, do not do anything else. Let him follow through with his attack and properly punish him. And now that his friend's dead, we can easily just rush this last guy and kill him. I end up eating a hit here because I was a little bit too overeager, but my teammates got my back and they're able to finish him off. And here I'll show you the full clip, unedited. And the next thing I'd like to talk about is teamwork. I have another clip here to show, but I'll show this one in full this time before I start breaking it down. Get fucked.
This guy here, let's get. This is the guy with the fucking ball. Get wrecked. Kill this guy. Oh, I hate this guy.
In case you were wondering, yes, everyone who kills you with a spear is going to be trash talking you with their friends in Discord. And this actually isn't even my POV. This is a clip from a friend of mine's Twitch stream. He goes by the name of Dongle. I'll have a link down in the description in case you want to check out some more Mordhau content. But you can hear me screaming expletives in the background. And you might be thinking, well, this is just two dudes ganging up on one person. Which, well, fair enough, it is. But there's more to be pulled away from this than just that. Now let's take this back a little bit and walk through this, and I'll highlight the advantages that the spears have over other weapons in these teamfight situations. In the first part of this clip, you're going to see both of us squaring off against a shield user. This is just some pretty straightforward teamwork. I run in and kick him and make him stagger so that Dongle can finish him off with his spear. I mean, I say it's simple, but I really just can't count how many times I've been killed by a teammate swinging their Y-hander around, trying to slash someone who's holding up a shield. If you're in this situation, just run up, kick the dude who's holding the shield, and create an opportunity for your teammates to kill him. It's really just that simple. Yeah, I'm a little salty. Next up, we have a guy jumping down who just wants to run straight into two people. Well, alright. This is a pretty straightforward, just 1-2 combo. I poke him and stagger him, and Dongle's able to come in and clean up. This is where the full-size spear really shines. If you notice, Dongle keeps positioning himself behind me so that he can follow up on my attacks. So basically, anytime that I land a full-on attack and stagger somebody, he's going to be able to follow through and finish him off. And with the next guy here, we have another shield user. This guy puts up a little bit more of a fight. We dance a little bit, do a little bit of a back and forth. But eventually, I do manage to land a poke on him. And just because of the superb range of the spear, Dongle's able to stick behind me, where he's very safe, and come in after I land the hit to secure the kill. And that's the power of teamwork. I promise you, it's the most overpowered ability in the game. If you can properly utilize spacing and work with your team, you're going to have a lot of success very early on in this game. And I feel like the spear is the best weapon to kind of capitalize off of both of these aspects in the game. But before I go, I would like to share the loadout that I use with both of these weapons. When I'm using the full-size spear, I like to keep my armor light. This way I'm still highly mobile, but I still avoid one-shots from most of the weapons in the game. The best defense you're going to have when you're using a spear is just to put space between you and your opponent, so favoring movement speed over armor is going to be ideal. The rest of your equipment is kind of just going to be dealer's choice. For my perks, I take Friendly and Tenacious. Tenacious is just going to make it so that when you regen health, it happens faster, which is actually very useful. Especially when you're playing in the team game modes, there's going to be a lot of opportunities for you to fall back and just kind of sit there and regen your HP. And this is going to help you get back into the thick of things a lot faster. And Friendly is just something that's going to be very useful. I mean, it's just kind of human nature that when you get into stressful situations, you're going to panic and you're going to move erratically. So when your teammates are in front of you and they're fighting someone, sometimes they get a little panicky, they start moving a little crazy, and then they put their head right in your crosshair as you're about to stab. I mean, it's not your fault. I mean, come on, it never is. But this will make it so that you kill a lot less teammates, which when you're in the back lines and trying to poke forward past your teammates, this is just going to help a lot. Your teammates will never thank you for taking this perk, but trust me, they'll be glad you did. For my secondary equipment, I like to take a cleaver and a smoke bomb. The cleaver is going to help for when people just want to get up in your face. The spear is far from the best weapon to be using at close range, while the cleaver is actually one of the better ones to be using at close range. And it only takes 1 equipment point to have it in your inventory. If you got some spare points, this is going to be a very smart pickup. You can switch to this when you got somebody rushing you, and you'll either be able to fend them off until a teammate can come and help you out, or you'll just be able to straight outright kill them. This is a very strong weapon in close quarters, and it should not be underestimated. And I grab a smoke bomb just to cause chaos. There's really no other use for a smoke bomb than that. It's very useful for throwing out archers and blocking their line of sight, which since you're in light armor, they're going to be the bane of your life. Also, if positioned properly, it can make the difference when you're capturing a point in front line. But if you don't want to use the cleaver or the smoke bomb, you could take something like a medkit. This will be useful for your entire team, and everybody will be thankful that you brought one. Outside of making a custom class though, the default spearman is actually very good. It's got light armor, it has a med pack, and it has a spear. If you're just brand new to the game and starting out, the spearman is going to be a very strong class to start with. And for the short spear, I use the same armor as when I'm using the normal spear. I keep it light for that extra mobility. For my gear, this might seem a little odd, but I take 2 short spears and 1 shield. I take 2 short spears so that I can have the option to throw one of them. Pressing R with the short spear will allow you to throw it, and it does a lot of damage. Hitting most people in the head will result in a kill. So taking 2 spears is not only effective, but fun as well. And shields are really great. You're not going to have to rely on parrying to block incoming damage. All you're going to have to do is hold this bad boy up, and you're going to be able to defend against almost any attack. Almost any attack. For our perks, I take Brawler and Huntsman. Brawler is more of just a personal choice. I like throwing spears, so sometimes I'm left without a weapon, and this is just going to help me pack that extra punch. Literally. I wouldn't actually recommend it. You could definitely pick something more useful. This is just kind of a personal choice of mine. But the other perk, Huntsman, is actually a very nice choice. This perk is going to make it so that any range damage you deal to any character that has a quiver equipped is going to deal extra damage. Since the spear already does a shit ton of damage, this is going to make it so that you can one-shot an archer by hitting him in the chest with a thrown spear. Once you get good at throwing spears, the enemy archers will be living in fear. Huntsman is a great perk to take. If you're not interested in throwing spears, you could also take the dodge perk. This is a very useful ability, and while I haven't quite used it a lot myself, I have been experimenting with it, and the results have been pretty nice. Most of the time I forget I have it, but when I do use it, it's very satisfying to dodge the enemy attacks and then land a hit on them. That is going to be all for this video though. If you would like to continue your education, enrollment is free. All you have to do is like and subscribe. I wish you the best of luck in all of your adventures, and I hope to see you again soon.